I'm putting on my Submariner date 16610 back on the wrist for the first snowfall of the season and to mark a new health routine. The Submariner is my own personal time machine. It brings me back to a simpler time, maybe before I didn't build up so many bad habits. I'm trying to turn things around, so this is an appropriate watch to wear. This was my second ever Rolex purchased from the AD in 2005 with a 10% discount. I bought it as I was just starting my first real job out of the Navy, but looking back, I should have purchased it even earlier while I was still active duty, since this is a naval watch. I still have my first Rolex, the white dial Datejust, but I like this one even more. After I got the Submariner, I started wearing this one even more, all week, all weekend, and on trips, and built up even more memories with this one. Life was simpler back then, just working, reading, and exercising, before high-speed internet and before the watch addiction. It felt large in the beginning, but by today's standards, it's a more streamlined watch and more subtle. The aluminum bezel is not so in your face, the hour markers are modest sized, and the lugs are slim and tapered. But it still retains that large winding crown, which makes it much easier to operate than a 5-digit GMT Master 2. The HoloLink bracelet and stamped clasp are downsides, but you could argue that this gives the watch an overall lighter feeling. This is a very rugged watch. The bracelet has minimal stretch, and it's never been polished or serviced in its 19-year lifetime, and it still keeps time. I can take it anywhere in any weather condition, and it's not going to be falling off my wrist. The first snowfall of the season is a welcome change. It's nice to put on a coat and enjoy a change in scenery, and hopefully it marks an improvement in my health and fitness for the next year. I had a wake-up call 2 weeks ago. I pulled my back just putting on a pair of socks, so that was a real wake-up call. I had a lot of back pain for 2 or 3 days, but this tells me I need to get into better shape. So I've started running again, I'm working on my sleep schedule, and I've changed up my nutrition plan. My hands are wet and numb at this point, so I need to stop filming outside and get back inside. But the Q343 held up really well in the snow and the cold. This is weather sealed, so you can get it wet and you can get it dusty without any worries. I stopped at a cafe for soup to warm up, and this tasted fairly good. The shrimp corn chowder was well seasoned but slightly sweet from the corn, and the shrimp were very small. I would have made it spicier, but I'm glad it wasn't too rich from any added cream or cheese. I think the creaminess seems to come from the potatoes. This will be my lunch for today, then go to work this afternoon, and then have a small dinner when I get home. I have some chicken marinating overnight, so I'll grill that tonight. I came up with a new meal plan to lose weight and get down to 10 to 12% body fat, and I tried to keep it as simple as possible with enough variety so I don't get bored, and high protein as possible. I'm trying a very low calorie diet, 1,000 calories per day with intermittent fasting. I know I probably shouldn't go that low, but I'm giving it a try. But by spacing out the meals and drinking fluids through the day, I'm not really feeling that hungry. I'm hoping that the low calories will help lose visceral fat and lower inflammation. I'll rotate through these meals and have one for lunch and one for dinner. Except for the eggs, each batch I make will last 3 to 4 servings, so I don't have to cook every day. Breakfast will be coffee or tea, and a snack will be an apple, avocado, or almonds or chocolate. What's missing that I was eating before? Pretty much any bread. I think the sandwiches and bagels were not helping me lose weight, and I'm also going to be cutting out on cheese and alcohol. They say you shouldn't announce that you're quitting alcohol, but you should just go ahead and do it. But I'll go ahead and say I'm taking a break from alcohol, but I don't know for how long. There's nothing healthy about it, so I'm taking a pause. It's been 8 days now, so I'll aim for at least 28 days and maybe more. I think if I go 90 days, then I'll notice some more long-term benefits, and the habit will then be fully broken, and I will then need to make a conscious decision whether I wanted to drink again. I've been stuck at a plateau with my fitness. I had to pause on doing my push-ups because I developed rotator cuff tendonitis in both shoulders, and I think that was due to improper form. I was doing my push-ups with my elbows out, and I think that eventually caught up with my shoulders. It's now getting very slowly better with stretching my shoulders and doing arm circles, and I'm now able to do push-ups with my elbows tucked in, but I still haven't found a good rehab exercises to eliminate the shoulder pain altogether. Pull-ups are also still at a plateau, doing 2 sets of 9 or 10, but I'm trying to keep good form and going all the way down. I think quitting alcohol and eating a high protein diet should help me retain muscle. As for running, I'll be using an indoor treadmill for the winter. I had a comment a while ago that my ring looked ugly, but it's not really for looks. I use my Oura ring to track my fitness and sleep, and now I'm making a renewed effort to get better quality sleep. So far, the best way for me to get good quality sleep is strict bedtime and wake time, a cold room, wearing an eye mask and headphones, and doing meditation or reading before bed, no food for 3 hours, no caffeine after 9 a.m., and early morning daylight exposure. Alcohol will destroy my sleep quality, so since stopping, I've gotten one of my highest sleep scores yet, 91. I think 92 was my highest, but I've never gotten over 95. The heart rate curve looks good. It should look like a bowl pattern, and I got down to 48. My heart rate variability is still very low. Alcohol will cause an acute and chronic effect on heart rate variability, so I'm hoping this will improve over time as I stay off alcohol. My readiness score should have been higher, but the program gave me a ding for the resting heart rate of 48 because it was lower than my average, but it's actually good for me to be lower. But the program in this case interprets this as a negative change in health. So the ring is not perfect, but it really gives me some good feedback, and I wear this instead of an Apple Watch so I can wear a real mechanical watch on my wrist instead. The Oura Ring 4 was just released in October. It's about the same except for slightly longer battery life, a lighter weight, and the nubbins for the sensors are no longer protruding on the inside, so it's smooth on the inside. It's not much change, but I put it in order for the 4, so it should be coming in a few weeks. Let me know in the comments, have you had your first snowfall of the season yet, and where do you live?